breaking, this is the aftermath of an explosion that rocked a natural gas plant near Freeport.
I jumped up, looked out the window, and there was about a 300-foot fireball.
It shook the house moved, nobody on this side of town.
It's just an accident waiting to happen, and it's going to happen again if they don't fix all these problems.
We are in a heavily polluted area with all kind of health issues.
This is no longer okay. We're going to do everything that we can do to fight.
My name is Gwendolyn Jones. I was born and raised in Freeport, Texas.
The city of Freeport is a town of about 13,000 people on the Gulf Coast. We have beautiful rivers and beaches, but we are also surrounded with industry. So Ms. Glenn and I are members of Clean Air and Clean Water in Missouri County. Part of what we do is to push back against these companies to help clean up our community.
Non-experimental. She gave me a reason to fight for Freeport. She gave me a reason to fight for the East End.
My grandfather, name was William Henry King. He was a slave. He came from South Carolina to Texas and had the first school in Freeport on East 6th Street.
The East End of Freeport was like a family. We had everything we needed.
It was homes everywhere. The windows are right there. I grew up right here. I could go out my back door and go over to their house.
But it's only 4 homes left standing. The roads are all torn up. There's no life on the East End anymore.
This means too much to me, and it's hard.
All of this is nothing but greed, not about the people. The African American people is the one that's left behind in the city, and they're still being left behind. We're just collateral damage.
We are in a cancer cluster area, heavily polluted with asthma and all kind of health issues.
Just standing up here, my eyes started burning. It's the chemicals in the air, and it's in the water, and you can't afford to leave.
About 72% of the folks here are considered low income, and we have a disproportionate amount of industry, pollution, and health problems. The Texas Department of State Health has done studies, and they did one in 2018 that showed that we have several types of cancer higher than to be expected in this area.
Cool family. They live on Broad Street. Her father was a fisher. Her mother died of cancer. Her daddy died of cancer. Her brother died of cancer. And now her son, 26 years old, is fighting cancer.
But over here was nothing but home. Then they built LNG. Now they want to build a spot terminal. Something else to cause an environmental problem. When are they going to stop inundating this city with all the petrochemical plants? There's nowhere in the world Freeport should look like this.
You talked about previous polluters. That's the common theme that we're seeing with LNG projects is they're coming into communities that are already overburdened.
They say, well, what's one more pipeline? What's one more, oil export project?
And that exploded in the LNG, we should have been notified that there is an explosion in Freeport with LNG instead of catching it on the news.
They claim that they're going to create a lot of jobs here. There's maybe 100 people that run the pre-treatment plant and the liquefaction plant. So in reality, there's not that many jobs. Really, I don't think it's worth the risk.
Tonight, the flames have been extinguished, but the investigation into what caused it is underway.
The explosion at Freeport LNG is a perfect example of the ongoing threat this community faces. The day of the explosion, Glenn and I were sitting right here in my living room, and we heard a large boom. There was just a whole lot of black smoke,
it was blowing toward the east end, and it was blowing toward the west end. The city of Freeport, LNG, should have removed everyone from the east end and the west end of town.
They did not have a safety plan, and no one didn't even come and say anything.
My first thought was, oh my gosh, where the pipe broke and the explosion was within, it looked like feet from one of the gigantic LNG tanks. If the LNG tank had caught on fire, more than likely there would have been people hurt, killed. They were just lucky this time. So in response, we wrote a letter to the federal government basically asking for three things. First of all, we want to have a public hearing for the investigators in Freeport LNG to tell us exactly what were the root causes of this accident. Second of all, we want Freeport LNG to come up with a real emergency response plan. And finally, we really hope that there is an update by the regulators governing these LNG terminals all across the country. What I understand, I don't think they've been updated in like 40 years.
I would like to see less plants. I would like to see less pipelines. Because right now, all there is nothing but death sentence. We breathe it, we drink it, and we live it.
It's only gonna stop when we hold them accountable and they beat to the fire and make it public and make people realize that we don't have to be dying, we don't have to have these diseases. So we have to make a change. And we have to make a change for ourselves and for the future generations.
Wow.
Sounds familiar.
Very familiar, doesn't it? Hello, everybody. Hello. I've been running around a little bit like crazy. What's up? Because I ain't got no sense. But I'm so glad y'all here. I'm glad to see we got full house. Hallelujah. That's a good thing. I'm praying. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Julie. How are you?
Good.
We got Choices in the house. Hello, Choices. Okay, so real quickly, I want you to introduce yourself. Yes, and when you stand up, the other members of Choices can stand up. Okay? All right, stand up, turn around, introduce yourself. Tell them who you are.
Hello everyone, I'm Tariana Adger.
Stand up, CJ.
I'm in
Stand
8th
up.
grade and I'm a member of Choices.
And you are who?
I am the leader of Choices.
All right now. All right. Hakeem, can you say something real quick? Yeah, you've been talking on that. Come on. Boy, tell them what you've been doing today. Up at
Jalen,
the wall.
Javante, y'all can come up as well.
We've been busy all day.
So,
But
hi, my name is Hakeem Freeman, and basically what we've been doing is school.
louder. Let's go. You gotta project your voice. They're in training. Come on, boy. I ain't got time on that. What have you been doing?
You can say exactly what you're saying.
Say what you said down the park.
So basically, we fight for clean air and a clean community overall. And we go on environmental trips and we basically try to help out the community.
And those is our kids. Don't say how proud you is. And as you can see, Miss Tracy, show them your hoodie and show them your shirts. And we want to thank Miss Tracy and the River Keepers Network from a grant that they gave us, that they made these hoodies and these shirts possible. So we are ever so grateful and thankful. So we'll make sure we get a picture with her today of that. But, you know, have a seat, you guys. I would like for you guys, I'm not going to put you on the back. Oh, yeah. Well, hello, sir. Hello. Come on up. These are more choices. You gotta go find some more chairs, huh?
Little kids first.
Okay, well, You wanna break them out now? Hey, baby. Leave
And
my
I can't
boys
even
alone.
take him out now. I was doing my job. And she kept me.
That's his mother, you know. All right, y'all gonna go, Dr. Fontaine, yeah. Dr. Fontaine, y'all got a breakout room that y'all gonna go to for some training, okay? So go ahead with Dr. Fontaine. I'll see y'all later. Yes, please introduce yourself. Yes.
You can take the ball.
Hey, come over here.
Come on, Javon, come on. We got work to do. Come on.
Hello, my name is Javante for some of y'all who doesn't know me. And I play football and I cook in Madden, which means I pretty much heat up players in Madden because I'm actually good.
Okay.
And good night. I mean good afternoon.
He's here all week.
Some of y'all don't know me, but hi, my name is Jaden. I play soccer.
And why are you in Choices?
I love it.
Okay, bye. Thank you so much. We've been meeting with these kids all last year, almost every Wednesday during the summer. They are being taught about environmental issues, about leadership. They are learning now. I don't want to hear you guys about civics. Javante, go find a spot.
Oh,
Go with Dr. Fontaine.
I thought you said
That's enough. Right now, go with Dr. Fontaine. And I want to hear quiet. We are training them to be leaders, okay? We're not training them to be followers. We're not training them to take orders, but their next thing that they're going to learn now, they've been in gun violence training, they've been in conflict resolution, they've been in some environmental studies, they are learning about civics. That's their next course. After that, we will take them to city council so they can tell our leaders what they want. Instead of the adults telling our kids what they need. They're going to speak for themselves. And that's what we're training them to do. Huh?
You need this table.
No, I don't really need it. Why, you want to take it? Yeah. We're grateful for the church who's given us some space. Believe it or not, a lot of churches are not welcoming. I don't know why or what that is about. But we're going to keep on, we're going to use the resources that we have. We have a couple of people here that I want to acknowledge, such as Tracy. I see Lauren in the back. Now, we're glad for her to be here, but this is one of the things that we do. We have to keep educating our community and keep the issues that the community thinks are dead alive, such as LNG. The liquefied natural gas plant is rearing its ugly head again since this new administration has come into office. That is what is has reignited them back in our area. This administration and the new Congressperson McCormick are all for LNG, specifically on the southeast corner of Pennsylvania, which is us. We are it. We are it, and we are not going to let people get complacent and thinking that it won't happen. This is a whole lot of money that we're fighting against. A whole lot of destruction. You know, what that lady just talked about is what is happening in our community right now. Right now. So at this time, I want, we have some statistics that were put together.
It's on the other side.
Huh?
It's on the other side.
Oh, it
Really,
is?
yeah.
Okay. Dr. Lauren, if you can come up, and I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes to go over these cancer statistics. You can introduce yourself. We're gonna start putting this out in the community in force, because people really have to understand that, when we are getting these phone calls and these, it's on the other side of here. And these, when we go into these funerals and wakes, it's not normal. The amount of funerals that we are going to. So, can you enlarge that?
Yeah, I'm trying. Give me a second. It's frozen, so go ahead.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lauren Minsky. I'm teaching the health studies program at Haverford College. And recently I've been looking at trying to figure out what the health effects are of all these polluting facilities. So between the incinerator and the Monroe Energy and Marcus Hook, Kimberly Clark, P2 Ebonic, all of these facilities are all releasing all kinds of toxic chemicals, gases into the air, into the water, and people are breathing it, ingesting it, absorbing it through their skin, right? And those chemicals in the body, they're flowing around, they're affecting all the biochemical processes in your body that make your cells make energy and your body work, and they're affecting that, right? And so that can lead to a wide variety of different kinds of health problems, one of which certainly is cancer. So we decided to try to figure out what the cancer incidence in Chester looks like. So basically what we did was calculate what's the average annual number of cases of about 24 different types of cancer in a given year. And we looked back over a 20-year period of time, from 2002 to 2021, sorry. And then we compared that to what's that number look like for the U.S. as a whole, to try to get some sense of where the numbers stand. And so what we found was that Chester has significantly higher rates of cancers, a wide range of different types of cancer, than the average in the U.S. For liver and bile cancer, it's 91% higher. For laryngeal cancer, 84% higher. For Hodgkin's lymphoma, 78% higher. Pancreatic cancer, 50% higher. Cervical cancer, 46% higher. Lung and bronchial cancer, 38% higher.
38% higher than where?
Than the U.S. as a whole. So then what the national average is. So I could go on, but for a wide range of different types of cancer. And then we also looked to see over the past, the most current 5-year period from 2017 to 2021 versus the longer 20-year span, to compare the rates to see are the rates going up or are they going down. And for a number of different cancers, the rates are clearly going up, especially esophageal cancer, myeloma, Hodgkin's lymphoma, uterine cancer, cervical cancer, and leukemia. So it's a pretty sobering picture, I think, and definitely in keeping with what they were talking about in Freeport and what you all know from families and friends and experiences in the community, that there is clearly an elevated rates of cancer in Chester.
So thank you, Doctor. We want to acknowledge our the partners that God has put in our path, okay? Because these type of this type of research, it's consuming. It's hard to do. You got to know where to look for it at. But we have a number of academia and colleges that are. And she actually started out doing a different project for us. And when we had to go give testimony or in reference to some permits down in Marcus Hook, she started reading off these statistics. And as you heard, it is sobering. And we start going through our minds and our families and our friends who has died in this community from cancer, and it's abnormal. This year I had two people that one guy I grew up with, one was a neighborhood father. I went to school with his daughter and I played in his house. His wife taught me how to cook pancakes. So he was a neighborhood father for a long time. And these two men died within 3 days of themselves, of each other, and both died from prostate cancer. One, the one I grew up with, he was always athletic. He was an athlete, always. Played football, basketball, rode motorcycles. He was just active all the time. And Mr. Sam was buff, and the crazy thing about them both dying within 3 days of themselves was they both died from prostate cancer. And the kicker about them is they literally live directly across the street from each other. What are the odds? What are the odds? And nobody is looking at this. But we know because we are going to these funerals. Last year, it seemed like every month I was getting a phone call of somebody who was battling or died from cancer. Right now, we have a young man that has worked with Circle. He did our They Matter. He was the host at our They Matter, Joshua. He was wearing the salmon color jacket. Joshua is 40 years old and he's now fighting stage 4 urea cancer. Young man. He just had a baby on the 15th of March. And that same day he had to go in and get cancer treatment. And he's stage 4. So we're going to ask for prayers for him. But, there are things that we can do. One is to stop these type of companies from coming in our community. Okay, that is essential. And then we have to deal with the ones that are already here, such as the Covanta Reworld Incinerator, Ebonic, Delport Sewage Treatment, Monroe Energy, Kimberly-Clark, Scott Paper Company. They are all major polluters for our community. Major compute. So that's why we go hard. That's why we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice as to whether or not we're going to fight. This is not a fight that we can say, well, we're not going to do it today. It doesn't matter to do it today, when essentially people's lives are being lost. So that's why we do what we do. I'm going to have one of our partners, Tracy, come up and talk about the liquefied natural gas, because they've been fighting it longer than we have. They've been fighting it over in Gibbstown and have been able to successfully keep it out of their community so far. Come on in. I'm so glad we got all these people out on a Saturday. That's a good thing. Come on up, Miss Tracy.
She's got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my question was to the lady that spoke first. Okay, this was a 20-year study, am I right?
Come up, Dr. Lawrence. Yes.
I was wondering,
She took
are
the
there
numbers
similar-
for 20 years.
Okay, is this a study that is being conducted in all of Delaware County, or are these numbers just from Chester? Because air doesn't stand still. So how far-reaching is this program? Is it encompassing more than just Chester? Because it's going to affect more than just Chester.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And so, yes, what we've been doing is calculating the incidence rates for all the different townships in in Delaware County. And then even now, been getting some requests to look at what it looks like, for instance, in parts of Montgomery County where they know there's PFAS which is a kind of forever chemical contaminating the drinking water, or places where there's fracking. So the idea is to be able to begin to see at a larger scale what the patterns are between different types of pollutants in the environment and the incidence of cancer. And I think the hope is that this might provide a way of being able to see that kind of larger picture, because so often, as you know, they say, oh, it's about your individual genes, or it's about your lifestyle, behavioral choices. And it's very much clear that it's about the environment and what it is that you are inhaling and absorbing and ingesting, just living your life, right? So yes, it's a great question. And if you want, my email is on there, but I'd be happy to talk with you about what the picture looks like. But broadly speaking, all along the Delaware River, the rates are the absolute highest in Delaware County. Greatly elevated, up to 300% times the national average. But frankly, they're really high in Swarthmore, and they're really high in Haverford, where I'm teaching as well. So because the air does move and the water is polluted, is affecting everybody who's drinking the water. So, yeah.
Are you looking at Philadelphia and Wilmington too?
I would love to. I just started doing this work.
This was just something that she did for us.
Yeah, so I started
Chester.
doing it in January. So I mean, hopefully it will continue. But certainly this region, I mean, all of Pennsylvania, right, is got a fossil fuel economy. So we've got the fracking and the oil drilling in the western part of the state, the pipelines bringing it here for the refining. So I think certainly this region, though, is popping up as very much a kind of Delaware Valley is a cancer valley. So I'd like to be able to fill in that picture as much as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lauren. So we're going to have Tracy come up. We are so grateful. Tracy travels about an hour to come and be with us because she loves us so much.
That's because you're lovable.
You can sit down. You can sit down. We didn't bring a mic, but everybody should hear. If you can't hear, wave your hand.
I think I can probably project pretty good. Can you
Most
hear me?
activists can.
Okay. All right, I'm Tracy Carluccio. I'm with Delaware Riverkeeper Network. I know many of you. Hi, great to see you today. So we're just going to go through a few slides to try to set the stage for what they say Penn America says they want to do here in Chester. So this is a typical liquefied natural gas processing and export facility. This one is down on the Gulf. It's in Texas, and you can see it's huge. Most of these facilities are many times the size of the area that Penn America says that they would use here in Chester. So they would really be making it much more crowded than this site, and whether or not they're really telling the truth about how much space they would need is highly questionable. So what is liquefied natural gas? Or LNG for short. So it's natural gas that's been cooled down to a liquid state at minus 260 degrees Fahrenheit. It turns liquid, and that they do that so they can ship it and they can store it, and they can do it in a smaller container than they could if they had in a gaseous state. So the volume of natural gas in its liquid state is about 600 to 620 times smaller. So that they can really cram a lot of energy, a lot of gas into a storage container or a ship in order to move it. And LNG is primarily made today in the United States and actually in many nations for export. And there is some small, like in Philadelphia, there's a small liquefied natural gas processing facility. It's been there for decades. It's very small. They keep the liquid on site until prices go up, and then they buffer what they have to send to homes for natural gas heating with that liquid. But it's very small. What we're talking about is much, much bigger. And in order to make money on it, in order to really, for the industry like Penn America, to make a lot of money, they got to sell it for much higher prices. And they can get those overseas. As a matter of fact, when the war broke out in Ukraine, LNG became like, oh wow, we're going to make a lot of money. And a lot of the companies that were already exporting LNG diverted their gas over to Europe in order to take advantage of, in some cases, 3 to 5 or many times more than that, than the price that they would be able to get at home. So it's really about making a lot of money for these companies. So this is a typical two-berth export shipping terminal. This might be the kind of thing that you would see if they were to try to build it here. And this is Sabine Pass, that's Louisiana, and it's a very big facility there. Cheniere Energy is the biggest LNG domestic company in the US. So you can see these ships are enormous, and that one you saw with the spheres on it, it's distinctive looking, but it's actually not as big. It doesn't hold quite as much gas as these.
But
So-
the one that was shown is what, about 4 or 5 football fields? big?
Yes.
Like that. That's equivalent to about 4 to 5 football fields.
And the ones that are in the other
We've
pictures,
never seen them.
these are even bigger than that. And the reason that that's significant is they have been making these ships bigger and bigger in order to make more money when they move it overseas. But the downside of that for all of us, of course, is it means a lot more gas is processed, a lot more pollution results from that. But also, these ships carry a tremendous amount of energy. And should there be an accident, a release, or an explosion, one of these ships is equivalent to 69 Hiroshima bombs.
Wow.
We put that on the record with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission after our attorneys and a expert did the math. So these things are enormous. And if you were to have an accident, like a ship running into each other, and there be an explosion, you would affect everybody here, but also Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, which is only 6 miles away. So how does the gas get here? Well, they frack for gas, that is, they extract gas from the ground using a method called fracking, which is like making little earthquakes way under the ground, about 1 mile under your feet. They drill down, they make little earthquakes down there, they release the gas back into the wellbore, it comes up, and then they capture it. And they capture that gas and put it into, basically, most of the time, big pipelines. It'll go into a little pipeline first and then into a big pipeline. And these pipelines go, it's like spaghetti. If you look at a map of Pennsylvania, of the pipelines, they're everywhere in Pennsylvania. But one of the very big ones is called Enbridge. And Enbridge is the company that wants to bring the gas, or Penn America says they want to bring the gas from western and northeastern PA all the way across Pennsylvania. You can see Harrisburg there, down to Philadelphia, to us, Chester, where the arrows are, by pipeline. So there are existing pipelines. Some of them might have to be expanded, but once they get down here, then they have to get it from what's called the Eagle Terminal, which is a station in Chester County, and maybe the next slide might have that one. Yeah, so they would need to build from the Eagle Terminal up there across Chester and Delaware counties down into the city of Chester. And that would be a brand new pipeline. They would go right through the city of Chester. They would have to go right across the landscapes of Chester and Delaware County. It would be an enormous pipeline that they would have to build in order to get enough gas to feed this facility they want to build right down the road here at the old Ford motor plant. Now, if they do that, they would need to store that at the site. And you saw some of those tanks on that typical scene of a LNG processing facility. Well, they would get the gas, they'd take it out of the pipe, they'd process it, cool it down to that minus 260 degrees Fahrenheit, and they would store it in those tanks, and then they would put it into the ships. Every 4 days, a ship would leave the Penn America facility if they build it out the way they want to. That's 7 million metric tons a year. It's a lot of gas. Now, it's not as big as some of the ones in Louisiana on the Gulf Coast, but it's enormous. It's the biggest.
It would be the biggest on the East Coast.
The biggest
that they
on the
wanna
East
bring here.
Coast. The one at Cove Point is small compared to that.
Excuse me, can I just ask, when you say Eagle, do you mean like the town of Eagle? Is where?
Pardon?
The town of Eagle?
No, that's what they're just calling where the pipeline would connect.
The Eagle Terminal.
It would be Eagle Terminal.
I'm trying to get a sense of distance there.
So, I think you want to pick up here and talk about what.
Okay, so, this is a rendition. We didn't make this map up. We got this map from the engineers for Penn America called Betchel Engineering. This is what they actually created. And this is supposed to be an area of Chester. What it does not say right here on this particular slide, is it on the next one? Generally, these type of facilities are constructed on 1,000 acres of land. What they're talking about doing here in Chester is putting this facility on 100 acres of land. And they don't even have 100 acres. The 100 acres would encompass them from 3rd and Pennell. From 3rd and Pennell to 3rd and Penn. From Front Street up to 3rd Street. That whole entire area would have to be cleared, including this church. It would be 4 churches, businesses, a daycare, and 108 homes that would have to be done away with. We already know that there's a housing crunch in Chester. So if you're going to take these homes, we don't know by which way they want to take them. That's the area that they're talking about taking, the ones in green. Okay? 7 businesses, 3 restaurants, bars, several dozen properties and homes, including the local 413 headquarters. So all of that would have to be gone. They have not said in their documentation how they would acquire it. But one of the things that they can do with a federal permit is they can absolutely declare eminent domain and say that this is for the better good of somebody. It would be for our better good.
So the owners wouldn't get any compensation?
We don't know that, Patricia. There will be some negotiations, but owners never come out with. You can't, yes.
Now, I didn't want to stop you, but I've got my hand up.
Go ahead, come on.
Okay, so before you went to that slide, you were talking about something I couldn't get it down. But my problem is this. So I live on 319 Lloyd Street, and on the 2nd floor of my house, I have a master bathroom, bathroom, and I was wondering whether any of those pipes stop there or is they connected there, because this is how I'm thinking, but I'm trying to catch up to that one phrase.
For the gas pipes?
And that smell comes up through my bathroom. And it doesn't do it all the time, but it's like something that sets it off, and what I smell outside comes directly in my house and up through my...
Well, I can tell you that in that particular area, we have, there have been hits of formaldehyde permeating through the air, very high levels of formaldehyde.
Okay.
Okay? So You got PQ there, PQ Corporation there, manufacturer of silica. You got D Paper Company. You have Ebonic, who also manufactures some type of silica. It used to be Degussa. They're right there. Then, in addition to that, you have the Grow Factory, where they're growing marijuana, and you have the dispensary right next to it. The dispensary and the Grow Factory, there are no permitting requirements. There are no air monitoring of that place. I've driven down Lloyd and Pennell, and I've smelled weed. Okay?
You smell what?
Weed.
Oh, okay.
Marijuana.
Yeah, I got that. Right.
Okay? It ain't because somebody's sitting out there puffing it in the air. It's because they're growing it. And they're processing it.
Because last week they had, excuse me, but they had for 2 days, they had large air purifiers running through that building. Because I went, that they were like purifying the air inside. So I don't know if there was some type of violation of an ordinance.
I'm sure
that
it is.
they had to bring this outside company in to purify the air, you know, maybe for the workers. The second thing I want to bring a point about, that property, the Ford Motor Company, has somebody purchased it or have it?
No, listen, the property, the old Ford Motor Company, it's a gentleman who owns the property, and he has repeatedly said that the property is not for sale. He has said that for 4 years. And Penn America has insisted that that's where they're going to put this plant at. Now, because he said that it's not for sale, it does not mean that he can't rent it. It's his property.
Right.
And because he said it's not for sale, that can be determined in many ways. Maybe Penn America has not met his price point. Okay? Maybe they have not offered as many millions as he wants. So we don't know. But because they don't own the property, it does not. These are their plans.
Right. And the reason why I said that, because for the last 5 days, first in the last month, they have a rental fence around the property. And for the last 5 days, and I took pictures today, they've had 2 tractor trailer trucks parked on the outside of the fenced-in property. But for the one is a flatbed of shingles.
No, Becky, when they do this project, there will be trucks,
Yeah.
all kind of stuff rumbling through our city.
So what I'm looking at, probably the man that owns it, what came in my mind, the man that owns it is saying, oh, I'm probably going to need to redo this roof because it's a flatbed of shingles.
Well, we actually had the privilege of riding through that entire property last week with the mayor and some other people. So it's many different buildings on that property. We can only see what's right by the tracks. But we actually drove through that property. It's a lot on there. And it's a lot of little other plans. But, you know, it doesn't matter. The main thing is that we are under threat. Okay? Now, last year when President Biden put the pause on all LNGs, that gave a couple of people a little bit of comfort and some breathing room. Chester was one of them. It did not affect the people down in Louisiana and Texas because their facilities had already started and were in the pipeline. Ours was not in the pipeline. So it put a stop on that cold. And I always knew that he was waiting for after the election. In fact, when we had the press conference and the mayor said that LNG is dead, I said, And 3 days later, the man put an article in the paper saying LNG is not dead. That's when he offered that every other day he would be giving a scholarship to our school, to our children. Those are the things that we have to look out for. The prostitution of our community. And you won't have people at the schools. Yes, we welcome you. We want you to come through. At our sports biddy leagues, because they done gave them $1,000 for something. Okay? Yes, we want you to come here. Our local union, because they're in that union corporation, yes, we need the jobs. Knowing very well that they're going to get a minuscule amount of jobs out of it. They're going to be the first ones in and the first ones out of there. So, in terms of the jobs that they bring, these types of jobs, these are skilled technical jobs. And if you look on Indeed, Career Builder, we actually have a guy down in Louisiana who worked in the plant, was now against them. You have to, if you go and look for LNG operator, one of the first or second lines it's going to tell you is that you must have 5 years experience. We will not have 5 years experience up in this area. Why? Because we don't have LNGs. Unless we've been to the coast or Louisiana or down in that area and actually worked in one of these facilities, there's no way that we can acquire 5 years experience. Then they want, you have to be have certification in boiler makers or steam fitters or, one of those skill sets. If they were to come here, they're going to bring their own help. Same thing they did in Baltimore when they put one in there. There were no Baltimore residents that worked there. They brought all of those workers up from the coast. The other thing that we're going to talk about is, Covanta, the incinerator. Everybody talks about, well, if you shut it down, people are going to be out of work. Good. Trust me, they're not going to be our people. They claim that they've gotten better, but the last actual figures that they gave us is 106 people that work at the country's largest incinerator. That's the country's largest incinerator. And they have told us they have 106 people working there, and 6 of them are from the Chester area. They say the Chester area because they go out 5 miles from Chester. So it may be 0 working down there. I used to know people who worked there. They no longer work there. And the people I knew are not there anymore.
Some of them died.
No, not all of them. It's quite a few of them I knew that worked there for a long time. Okay? Brucey worked there for a long, long time. Okay? So they're not dead, but I doubt that it's very many of us that are working there. So, going back to Penn America, Penn America is in this city now. They are holding meetings now. They've met with the school superintendent and a receiver this year, talking about creating and generating an apprenticeship program. Okay? These are all those tail in the pipe situations. I'm going to make it so agreeable that you can't say no. We all know how those things turn out for our young folks, okay? Those promises that are made, especially for our community. We do know that they've tried to meet and have met with our state rep, Carol Kazin. We do know that they've tried to meet with our mayor, of which the mayor has refused to meet with them. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. They have met with Senator Kane, and Senator Kane is the person who is trying to facilitate these meetings for Penn America. Senator Kane has an office in Chester, and Senator Kane knows about Circle and knows where we stand at on anything that is going to diminish the quality of life for us, okay? And for him to run around saying that, because he was in support of the hydrogen now, okay? So we're going to see Senator Kane. Now, personally, I like Senator King. I don't have a problem with it. But if this is the type of garbage you think you're going to bring here so that you can help the 420 Steam Fitters Union, that is predominantly white men, okay? I'm in the church. I ain't going to cuss. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Father. We're not having that. You will not be comfortable in our community, grinning in our face and trying to kill us at the same time. Okay, there's no other way to put it. You want to come out and take them pictures? No. 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 So, what are the hazards of LNG? Bottom line, it's not if it will blow up, it's when it will blow up. And if it were to blow up in the community of Chester, it will wipe this community out. If it blew up in the Delaware River, it's going to blow Chester out, parts of New Jersey, and Delaware. When they load these trucks, they have armed boat guns because these things are viewed as being a target for a terrorist attack. We have film of them in the Gulf when they're loading these things and the gunboats are riding around. But it's the last thing we need. It's the last thing we need. I don't care. Now that the figure, when they first put figures out for this thing, they said that the plant would last for 20 years, okay? And in 20 years, they would generate $13 million for the city of Chester. They broke it out to how much money the county would get, the state would get, but it would be $13 million for the city of Chester. The hell, that ain't nothing. That is nothing. Now the new conversation is, it's going to be $30 to $40 million a year. Those things don't generate that much profit. They don't generate that much profit. And a lot of the countries on the other side of the pond don't even want this material. We've had representatives here from Germany who have said that your government is lying to you. We do not want this material. It's not needed. They are all going to clean and greener energies. And they really accelerated it after Russia started this war and they couldn't get oil and gas from Russia. Germany doesn't want it. Ukraine was here. They don't want it. It's a lot of them that don't want it, okay? So we are going to have to really, really gear up our fight against LNG. People have to talk about this now. And people have to get active. We have some signs. Kayla, can you go get me a sign, please? We want these signs up all across Chester and in everybody's yard. Because you know how, listen, the playbook is the same. The playbook, oh, you really, really need this thing. You gotta have this thing. Why we gotta have it? I asked one of the legislators who was on the LNG task force, if this thing is so beneficial to communities, if it is so revenue producing, if it is such a benefit to a community and the inhabitants of that community, why aren't you all fighting for it to be in your community?
Right.
I asked them that, didn't I?
What'd they say?
Your residents should be mad that you're not fighting to get this there.
Right, because they make this good.
Okay? So, listen, I'm telling you, don't fall for the okie doke. They think that every time, when they brought that prison here, oh, it's going to be jobs. The lies. I actually had a job in there. But these are the signs that we want up everywhere, okay? These signs are free. We're going to give it to y'all. You take 2 or 3 up. But we're not gonna lay down and let them do whatever they want to do in our community. Okay? This right now is the offshore threat. Yes, we want to shut the incinerator down if they would leave us alone long enough to get it done. But consistently, there's always something going on in Chester that we gotta fight against. Half of the crap we fight against, y'all don't even hear about it. Y'all don't even know. The meetings that I go to, the hearings that we attend, the times that we rise up to protect this community. It don't hit the headlines, but we know why, because what? We were there, right? Okay? We there, yes.
I love the sign, people over pollution.
That's right.
Because our lives is worth more than people with the love of money.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. You are absolutely right about that. And I'm going to tell you this. People say, well, you know what? There's so many other things to fight for. You should be doing this, and y'all should be doing that, and why don't you do this? You know, if Circle gets involved with a lot of fights, but the biggest fight that we see that is the biggest threat to this community is our ability to breathe.
Yeah.
If you can't breathe, you ain't gonna be at no job working. If you cannot breathe, you're not gonna be in school learning. And we have many children that are pulled out of school because they can't breathe. When you get that phone call as a mother, as a parent, that hey, your child has to go to closure because we can't stabilize their breathing. You at work. You get that call and you have to go. You don't have an option on going. You know why? Because if you don't go, then they're going to call CPS and say that you medically neglected your child. But you got a boss telling you that, hey, if you leave, you won't have a job. And don't nobody never calculate the cost of that. Nobody calculates that. Nobody calculates, you know, I ain't got a car and I got to get to the hospital. So now I got to pay for Uber. That may be $20, $30 out of my low paying, no paying job that I got to pay. Then nobody calculates, okay, well, the child's at the hospital, now they home, breathing still ain't right, and you can't go to work the next 2 or 3 days. That's how bad the asthma is in our community for these kids.
When they talk about they were talking about expanding the soccer stadium, putting more facilities down there for our young people.
For our young people.
They want to start.
Do you ever go down there?
Yes,
now
I
you
do.
hit a nerve.
Yeah, I do.
Do you ever go down there?
Yeah, I have my kids down there who are in a program from their school. My point is that.
And that's the only time our kids are there.
Well, I attend games there, but that's besides the point. That's not what I'm talking about. What I was interested in is how do those surrounding big businesses feel about this project? You have Harrah's there. You have the soccer
I can't speak on how they feel about it.
I didn't know whether they spoke.
I don't know. I have not seen them come out against it. What I can tell you is that those Subaru Stadium, the Philadelphia Union, Covanta, Harrah's, and honestly, Harrah's is a little bit better financially than all of them are. They extract from our community, then add to it. I view that soccer stadium as an hostile invader. I have been down there many times when they've had field days, and they have them all the time. And I see very few of our children there.
That's right.
And the ones that are there, they bust them or brought them in here. It is not an open entity for us to use, and that was a lie they told. They got that land for cheap and next to nothing. That land that they built that stadium on, they paid $10 for. $10. They don't pay nothing in frickin' taxes. The only taxes are paid by that stadium are from the workers on the earned income tax. Okay? That stadium is built on the nation's first Superfund site. That's where that stadium is made. That was the Wade dump, all down there. When them people be around there frolicking in the grass and open drinking whatever they want to drink, we can't walk down the street and drink what they drink down at that stadium.
And
We can't do it.
And the side places where
Okay,
people
we can't
park
do it.
cars, they sit up there and drink, and before
They
go
have TVs out.
They down there.
Grills too.
Grills with TVs, whatever you want. And I have a real reaction every time I go down there on game day. I really feel like we have been invaded. And I feel like, it's like you have a house, somebody come in your house, eat up all your food, look at you and grin and leave out. That's how I really view that soccer stadium. I don't view them as being an integral part of our community. I do not. I think that the politicians, the previous administration, Thaddeus Kirkland, gave that soccer stadium carte blanche. How do you have a public parking area that taxpayers and people in Chester pay for? And when there's a game, you can't go down there and park and be at the only place that is accessible to that waterfront to us. And you're not allowed to go and park there. You are not allowed.
You can't walk down.
Listen, I got report upon report upon report of people who have gone down there and were harassed by the police, Chester police, and the security of that stadium for them being in that parking lot. Now, when I asked the question, because I went down there and counted every freaking parking space, it's 127 of them. $40 a pop, they charge them people to park there. And I've asked, where is that money? I want to see a line item in our budget of income from that parking, from that stadium. $40 a pop, 127 spaces. That's a whole lot of money. It's a whole lot of money. So, listen, it's a lot of things that we got to be about in this city. Y'all know the issues. Y'all know the issues. And people say all the time, oh, y'all ain't going to do nothing. Let me tell you something. I don't believe that. Because I can tell you, the members of Circle can tell you, we have walked in rooms and changed the entire atmosphere. Have we not? Have we not? On the stuff that the devil want to do to us. We have changed that. $5,080 every time they have it. That's how much should be going into the city's coffers. So, we ask you all to be a part of Circle. We have meetings when?
Every other Thursday.
Okay, we also have an Action and Communications Committee. We have a Research Committee. We got those young students you see around from C4. They are our students. We got Major, who's C4 alumni. Come here, Major. This is my baby, because he always around. Trying to get me to marry one of my daughters, but I'd have to kill her over him. Introduce yourself. This is my baby.
My name is Major.
Speak up, Major.
Oh.
Use your outside voice.
My name is Major. I'm a PhD student at Harvard. I'm doing some research in Chester, trying to basically understand more about the environmental racism, more about, how to help the economics, environmental racism, all that. So, yeah, I'm glad to be here.
When you graduate, Major? Yeah, from SWAT.
In 2023?
And he here, every time you see him, he in Chester. We got 3 of them at Harvard. We got 3. My young people, okay? And it's crazy because we started C4 in probably around 1993. 1994. This past summer, Major came down, there was an event up at Bennett Farms. And a young lady came running up to me, Miss Celine, you know how you look at the people and you don't know who they are? And I'm looking at her and she's like, Robbie, hey. Oh Lord Jesus, give him a toy. We got a toy something. Hey. Hey little man, sit wherever you want to sit at, Rob.
Thank you. See you later.
Hey baby, how are you? And she come run up to me, and she was one of the first students that came from Swarthmore College to work with Circle. And she was in the area, and she came to the Bennett Farms, and I'm like, oh my God. And then she finally told me her name. I'm like, Lisa, I know you. You know, but it was great. It was great to see her. Robbie, I know I'm putting you on the spot. Come on up here for a second. Sure. He's one of our other community partners. Hey.
Thank you. Just woke up from a nap. Sorry
That's
we're
all
late.
right. No, it's okay. Introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi everybody. My name's Robbie Anstead. I'm with with Claymont, the Claymont Coalition for Environmental Justice. We're affiliated with the Delaware Concerned Residents for Environmental Justice. Yeah, I live right across the border. In Claymont, exactly. And what affects one of us affects all of us.
And this is how we win. This is how you beat back the devil. When everybody start linking together, people who ordinarily would not even know each other. Like I'm linked up with people in Germany, Ukraine. I was shocked when a lady from Ukraine came here because she heard about us and she wanted to meet me and meet us. From Ukraine. There have been people here from Russia. Okay? We've had people, and it's a double-edged sword. Because if it were not for the fact that this was a tremendous problem, we wouldn't have that type of notoriety. But because we have that type of notoriety, this is environmental genocide. Don't, you know, it cannot be sugar-coated, and we're not. When you see averages of cancer 91% higher than the national average, 91%. That means that a certain amount of us will all die for everybody else's comfort. That's what that means. And it ain't no fun when it's you, or it's in your family, or it's your child.
Or yourself.
Or yourself. Okay, there are many people that have fought off cancer in this community and are battling right now. So, you know, this is my brother. I got brothers in Louisiana. I got Cajun brothers in Texas. And all down in the Gulf Coast.
Weren't those guys from Switzerland? Remember those two guys? Where were they from?
It's been so many.
When we were overcame under the train trestle, remember they came?
Oh yeah, they were from Switzerland. Yeah, I forgot about them. I really just, you know, but, you know, there are things that we can do. But one of the things we can do is support each other. When you hear that there's a meeting going on in your community, we will put it out there. And we don't put out everything. We don't put out no mess. You know, when we put out a call to action, it's real. That means we are really under threat. Now understand this, May the 5th, every year we have a march. Every year. And every year we get the same type of criticism. Well, it was more people outside of Chester than in Chester marching. Well, where were the black people at in the march? Well, where was your ass at? I did it anyway. Lord knows my heart. Where were you when these people were out here marching for you? And I always give them the reminder, understand something, when Martin Luther King started, his own community did not support him. That's a lie. And his own community, his inner circle, betrayed him. How do you think they were able to wiretap him? Okay? They ain't walked in his house. One of his friends did that. They did not support Martin Luther King worldwide until college students got involved in that fight. When they killed them college students, that's when the nation rose up and said, that's enough. That's enough. So, when is our march? May the 5th. We start at City Hall. Those of you all that can't march, we gonna have shuttles. Cause I can't walk neither, like that, okay?
Can I ask a question, please?
You gotta ask a loud question.
I guess mainly for Tracy. Because of the noise that we already endure from Covanta and the trucks and how much noise, I mean, does these LNG give out?
How many what?
How much noise? I can
Noise,
tell you.
It's very noisy and there's lights.
There's a lot of flaring.
Yeah.
It's a lot of burning off.
Right.
Even though they say, well, we may only flare 6 times a year, our friends down in the coast say it's never ending.
Yeah, it's like, they say it's like a train running past forever.
So it would project outward.
That's the sound.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
More
Oh, yes.
Because they're processing all the time. In order to
24
keep up with the amount that they want to produce at Penn America, they have to go 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and that requires a tremendous amount of energy, and that means they have to have flaring off, they have to have their machines, their turbines running, and then they have to be filling the ships, and all of that is very noisy, and light pollution is another issue that people bring up around these facilities. It totally changes the entire city because it's so bright.
Okay, because it seems like there are 2 Chesters, because we're on this end, and people on the other side of Chester have no clue about what's going on
Right.
in Covanta and Del Cora.
Right.
I also have flyers for the march. Please, please, please take some and distribute them to your communities. We want to see a big march. Bigger every year. We want it to be bigger. Every year we want more people to be there. And for right now we're going to stop because I got pizza out there that's probably getting cold.
One question.
One question.
Okay, these ships come in. I want the people to know, it's not 1 ship a day or 2 a day. They said it could be at least 50 ships sitting out in the Delaware waiting to unload.
No. What happens is that when one of these things comes through, it's so big until traffic in the river is going to be stopped. It has to be stopped. Because they don't want to risk another boat running into it. Plus they are just that huge.
These ships are larger than any ship that comes this far upriver today. These are enormous ships, much bigger than anything that you see today on the river.
Hold on. Right now, anybody that wants to, we got pizza out in the side. We will still continue to take questions. I just don't want it to get super cold. Because it's been out there for a while. I know pizza ain't really all of our thing. But you're welcome to go out there and get it. It's right outside. There's some juice and snacks, okay?
Thank